Moving on now to world economy. Global stock market breathed a sigh of relief last week as U.S. President Donald Trump's initial tariff policy is considered less stringent than they have feared, despite setting a tone of uncertainty in global economy.
Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States on Monday, last week ushering in a new era of U.S. leadership that has the potential to reshape norms and institutions related to international cooperation. In his inaugural speech, he did not immediately impose tariffs. He only issued an order that directed agencies to investigate and remedy the U.S. trade deficits. However, in a press conference in Washington on Tuesday, President Trump said he was considering imposing a 10% tariff on imports of Chinese-made goods as soon as 1 February, Reuters reported. It followed the threats by Trump to levy import taxes of 25% on Mexico and Canada, accusing them of allowing undocumented migrants and drugs to come into the U.S. During the press conference, Trump did not mention anything about his trade policy on other Asian countries except for China. But during his presidential campaign, Trump had vowed to immediately impose steep tariffs of 10% to 20% on global imports into the U.S. and 60% on goods from China. Speaking to reporters in Jakarta on Thursday ahead of Trump's inauguration, ADB's country director for Indonesia, Jiro Tominaga, said like other Asian economies, Indonesia would not be immune to the impact of any policy changes under Trump. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartarto, said last week that Indonesia's exports would not severely affected, even if Trump imposed tariff on Indonesian goods. He said even under President Joe Biden's administration, the U.S. has already imposed tariffs on shoes, clothes, and various commodities. If Trump later imposes tariff on Indonesia, the government would propose tariff reductions with the U.S. through bilateral negotiations. Erlangga said after the Business Competitiveness Outlook 2025 event on January the 13th. It is worth noting that during Trump's first term between 2017 and 2020, Indonesia's exports to the U.S. rose 15% from $6.14 billion to $18.62 billion. The increase was higher than the 8.5% surge recorded during Barack Obama's administration. However, during Trump's first term, foreign direct investment to Indonesia was lower than those during Biden's era, as most American major companies focused on domestic economy. The foreign direct investment from the U.S., which reached $1.99 billion in 2017, continued falling in the following years. The amount dropped to $750 million in 2020. Sahara, a researcher at the Center of Reform on Economics Core Indonesia, said that U.S. trade protectionism would benefit Indonesia, especially if Trump imposed 60% tariff on China and 10% on other countries, as he proposed during his campaign. Indonesia's exports to the U.S. would indeed fall, especially on leather, apparel, and however he said there's also a possibility for Indonesia to increase exports of plant-based fiber and basic pharmaceutical products.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday last week a number of trade measures, including trade restrictions as part of its America First policy, following his inauguration as the United States' 47th president. Today, our guest, Nailul Huda, a researcher at Center for Economy and Law Studies, or Celios, will discuss the impact of Trump's trade protectionist policy on Indonesian exports. Hello, good day, Pak Nailul. Thank you for joining Economic Outlook today.
Halo, Mbak.
All right, let's
Halo.
get on with our discussion. Now, as we know, President Trump will impose a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, and also
Hmm.
10% on Chinese made goods. Now, everybody is quite surprised because the tariffs are lower than those proposed by Trump during the presidential elections. Now, do you see the less stringent trade policy will still pose a major blow to global trade? And what do you make of the difference between the numbers from election era and now during the administration?
Okay. Okay, Mbak. At the first speech, Trump said his campaign program that make American great again. So this policy, although lower than Trump's proposal while campaign, still have negative impact on global trade, especially if you know about the disruption for China product. So this tariff create economic uncertainty. So actually, disturbing international trade and some investment plan. So this policy could make a higher price for several products, and now we face the economy uncertainty and economy and slowdown on globally. And for the example, during a transfer period as president, this policy made a global trade war between United States and China. So uh, the trade war caused disruption on global supply chains, and then it increased production costs. uh, I don't know, maybe United States didn't want to make a higher tariff on Indonesia product, but Indonesia export to China and uh, demand United States production manufacture from China is going down. So the demand of China manufacture from Indonesia is going down also. So it is. I said that it costs to production costs and disruption on global supply chain, especially product that uh, have chain from China.
All right, Mas Nailo, as we can see, Trump 2.0 administration is continuing
Hmm.
the U.S. protectionist trade policy. How do you think this will impact the global economic growth?
Yeah, this policy made a significant challenges to global economic growth. Actually, some institutions like IMF, for the example, state that the global economic growth is going down to 3.2%. This prediction is lower than a previous prediction from IMF. Developing and emerging market, which heavily depend on open global trade, are particularly vulnerable to this disruption. So it is have the negative impact to economic uh, growth, especially on global and emerging market.
All right, Mas Nailul, continuing on the impact on Indonesia's economy. As we know, as of now, there hasn't been any official announcements about plan from the US to impose tariffs on Indonesian goods. However, by being a member of BRICS and having a high trade surplus with the US, Indonesia could also be under threat. What are your analysis on this?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Indonesia potentially have a negative impact due to this United States policy. Indonesia has a big economy, but still depend on advanced economic policy. And a high trade surplus may make tariff or non-tariff barriers from the US to Indonesia product. And right now, Indonesia association with BRICS called heightened geopolitical pressure. However, being part of the BRICS coalition also carries the risk of conflicting interests with other global superpower like United States. One of the potential risks is the possibility of trade privilege with the US being revoked or reduced. And then there is a likelihood of the U.S.-China trade war, and Trump assumes control as the U.S. president again. This could lead a global economic slowdown, impacting BRICS, countries' economy. And I believe that joining BRICS, I don't know, is not a rational choice, but Indonesia have to make a decision to join BRICS or not, because in the economy like this, you have to have the super partnership with superpower country, China or US. And I don't know, government thinks still thinks the BRICS is more powerful than US, I think, because like the size of this economic size of BRICS countries is higher and higher. And so government think it will be better if we join BRICS rather than we join US trade regional partnership. I think this is the uh, the reason why our government make decision to join BRICS.
All right, Mas Nailul, so far from your assessment, I think we can all agree that there are growing uncertainties happening in the global trade. Now, do you think, based on your knowledge and perspective, should Indonesia increase its exports amidst these growing uncertainties?
Yeah. Indonesia should expand its export destination beyond traditional market like United States and Europe by leveraging opportunities in emerging markets like Africa, South Asia, and Latin America. And Indonesia must be do strengthening regional trade partnership, particularly to ASEAN. And Indonesia must be met agreement with regional like RCEP, and can also create more stable trade channels bilateral. And Indonesia can reduce resilience on volatile global markets. And Indonesia must enhance on the competitiveness of product, and so Indonesia can export more and more. And then uh, to make our export higher and higher, we must investing in innovation, and then make technology adoption better, and upskilling on the workforce, and it can help domestic industry produce higher value added goods. And so uh, it is that make a better price in international market. So I don't know, maybe our government uh, do that thing, but I want to add some perspective, because we have the sustainable problem, and I don't know, we start to focus on green and sustainable product, and it uh, can give Indonesia a competitive edge as global demand for environmental friendly good continues to rise, because uh, some countries like Europe and the others start to make a better product for sustainability or and environment goods. So this is the other perspective on the Indonesian focus to expand the export product. We don't know potential market, maybe government do do the better things to leverage the market, to Africa, South Asia, Middle East, and Latin America. But I want to push the green and sustainability product also to make export on from Indonesia.
All right, Mas Nailil, you mentioning sustainability actually brings me to my last question to you. As we all know, one of Indonesia's most ambitious program is our energy transition program. But in the meantime, as we know, President Trump has also announced the withdrawal of US from the Paris Agreement. Now, how do you
Yeah.
see this impacting on the financing on Indonesia's energy transition program?
Mm.
which we know that U.S. is one of the main financial contributors for the
Yeah.
program so far.
Yeah. So it is a challenge for the global climate financing actually for the NGO focus on climate and the other developing countries like Indonesia that rely on international support to fund their energy transition program. So I don't know. It is the a very challenges for us to make the green financing and U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Agreement under President Trump. Yeah, it is the big challenges for us. And no, Indonesia must seek alternative funding source like strategic partnership with other nations committed to climate action and you know maybe the country from East Asia and Middle East could have offset the loss of the U.S. funding and Indonesia can explore innovative financing mechanisms such green bond, public-private partnership, and multilateral development fund. And you know, yeah, this policy can attract private investment in renewable energy, such as in about Indonesia. Maybe give the tax incentive to investment on focus on renewable energy and energy transition and the other sector that can help our sustainability. So this is our challenges, but we still have some way to get the fund for a green economy. Uh,
All
and I
right.
think this is the answer that Trump withdraw from U.S. Paris Agreement. Sorry, from the Paris Agreement, and Indonesia must be seek alternative funding source. And the source is very uh, very I don't know very much way to get the alternative funding source to renewable energy.
All right, Nailul Huda, researcher at Center of Economy and Law Studies, or Celios. We truly appreciate your thorough assessment and sharp analysis on this program. Hoping to see you again at future episodes of Economic Outlook. Thank you, Mas Nailul.
Thank you, Mbak.